when you want to turn on the Emmys, bro, I got to actually sit for a long time and watch the same stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, this is 2023. I can see crazy stuff like giant pythons grabbing animals, even a person. Then I get to see a woman on a skateboard with a bikini and impossible who falls, but then is caught in a sea of jello and anything I want. So my brain.
Wow, your Explorer page is popping.
My Explorer page, let's see what my Explorer page is. It might, Instagram thought I was gay for a long time. Jamie Kennedy.
Starting?
You go down as the I think the show you did, that prank show, I swear to God, I'm not just saying this. I think some of the shit you did on that show was the best thing I've ever seen, like in terms of, like for that genre. It was it was so insanely outrageous when people weren't doing it. It was crazy. The funeral thing, there were things where I was like, what is going on here?
Thank you, buddy.
We were just talking about, me and Jamie were talking about staying relevant.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. How different of a time was that? Okay, dude. So I do the show. Okay, the president of the network was Jordan Levin, and he had come up through the ranks. Let me tell you guys how different it was, and Brian will understand. So the Laugh Factory would have something called a New Faces Night, which no one has anymore, and it was for up-and-coming unknown comedians, and you'd get like 3 to 5 minutes, and this executive watched me throughout my career bomb, and he said, "You're so funny when you bomb." And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "I don't know, the way they react." He goes, "Your jokes aren't funny yet, but you're funny when you bomb." And he goes, "I want to work with you."
Wow.
So he came.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a visionary.
It really is. And he, through the junior ranks, worked. And then he became president, but he was a real executive, always out at the clubs.
Well, he saw something in you.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's like he saw potential, like a diamond in the rough.
100%. Jamie Masada, too. He was You're not funny yet, but you're funny. And I was like, is that good? So eventually, when I got my show, it was him taking me out to Morton's and going, how do you think you could do this as a pilot? Can you do a presentation? So it was imagine if you were the president of a network, and we literally just kind of worked it on the napkins, and then eventually we did a lot of stuff to get the right producers, but it was a chill way to do it.
Well, dude, think about now.
And now it's like,
well, now there's no gatekeeper. It's social media. You're the guy, which is good, but it's also like, it's a lot, man.
Don't you kind of? I was thinking about this the other night. Don't you kind of miss gatekeepers?
Yes, I do.
Because
there was something predictable. It wasn't changing every 10 seconds.
But also, it's like, some people shouldn't really be allowed in. I mean, there's people that, I mean, let's be real. It's like, there's people with 10 million more followers than me, and they're great, but I don't know what
they call that. They call that the cult of the amateur.
Really?
Yeah, I think there's a book about it. It's called The Cult of the Amateur. Now that everyone has a camera and everyone has a mic, every amateur on the planet can just talk. Wow. And then you can express your opinions. And those opinions are based on attitude, not acumen, not skill, not thought and work over a long period of time. So, as an example, I just had a crazy health screening. Like I had they do your MRI. They look at the inside of your arteries. They compare it to the metadata of all the plaque on all the arteries. They look at the difference between your LDL cholesterol, the oxidized cholesterol, the size of the molecule, right? They do all this crazy stuff. I'm healthy. But when you hear all the stuff that goes on the internet from surgeons, from doctors, from quote unquote health experts, they're all making money. And the way you really make money on the internet is by saying, everything your doctor said is wrong, and everything I'm saying is right. And everything you ever learned about cholesterol is wrong, and everything I'm going to tell you is right. And everything you ever learned about statins is wrong, and so there's a lot of money in that. And then they say this. Then what happens is you have to do this. Here's the other playbook. The pharmaceutical companies want you to be sick. That's how they make money. They don't want you to be healthy. I'm the only one who can teach you how to be healthy, and I have the secrets. Then you talk to real doctors. I'm talking about dudes who are scientists who are. This is Tony Robbins Center and Peter Diamandis. It's called Fountain Life.
That's where you went?
Yeah.
I got to go there.
Bro, you talk to these real scientists, I mean, real doctors. They're looking at cutting edge stuff, and their client list is stupid. So the people they're dealing with, they don't want those people. They want to live forever because they got a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so you're dealing with people who are looking at you look at like the latest findings out of Harvard, Johns Hopkins, all these different labs. Mm-hmm. And what you realize is that the shit you're hearing on the internet is, it's just a bunch of crazy, or it's half true, or it's a quarter true, or it's true in this circumstance. And I feel like, I don't know where I was going with this, but I feel like as it's trying to stay relevant, you're fighting a fucking sea of noise.
Yes.
And so the cult of the amateur, that's what we were talking about. Cult of the amateurs, anybody can say anything.
Yes.
And if they're good at saying it, they can get a lot of followers.
Yes.
But this guy, Alex Hormozy, said he made a lot of money by coming up with a way to turn gyms around. He said something to my friend. He said, just because you have a big following doesn't mean you have respect. And just because you have a big following doesn't mean you necessarily have something that people are actually going to listen to over the long period. I think he said something like that. I'm sorry if I'm misquoting it, but it was so true. Mm-hmm. It was so true. So
do you think that, I totally agree with this. Do you feel as I feel that Hollywood has completely lost its luster?
Well, I would say that I was just talking to a huge director about this yesterday. What is Hollywood anymore? Oh, there's no Hollywood.
No.
I mean, Hollywood. Like again, it's like so. What movie stars can get a movie made? There are some guys like Bradley Cooper, Brad Pitt. They can do that. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, the movies.
But it's almost like for a streamer. It's not a traditional movie. It's like a lot of these movies are being made for Apple.
Yeah, and they better. And by the way, those movie stars better stay in their genre. Mm-hmm. They can't step outside of what they don't do. Mm-hmm. So, Tom Cruise is great when he does action stuff, right? So. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood is, again, rapidly changing. I don't know what we are going to do. I don't even know with AI. So you're addicted to your fucking iPhone 15. Wait till AI 1000 comes along. Tell me what's going to happen then, dude.
I mean, people think that we had a win in the strike. Come on. It's only a 3-year deal. And I want to talk to Justine Bateman, who's been really saying a lot of amazing stuff. I don't know if you've been following her. But she's basically saying that within 3 years, the whole business will be totally disrupted. It's already disrupted now. And so AI is already here. So, like she's saying, if you want to make something, it's literally going to be labeled like 100% human, organic, made content.
Yeah,
because it's like
but it may not be as good already. Already, if you're a graphic designer, or even so if you're a graphic designer, there are programs now that are kind of just better. If I say I want a samurai chopping a dragon in half, you can do that shit you can do that very quickly. Really well.
Yeah.
If you know how to work the AIs.
Yeah.
It's like I had a contract. I went to AI. I went to ChatGPT and had it draw me up a contract.
Can you prompt it? You know how to prompt it?
Yeah, I didn't need a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And it was really basic, and I just had him sign it. So I would have paid a lawyer at least $1,000 for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe $2,000.
There's so much happening right now. That's why I was interesting, because when we walked in the parking lot, you're like, I'm trying to stay relevant. It's so true. It's like, I think the only thing we have is our audience right now and people that fuck with us. Yeah. And now, will they follow us to different things, whether it's stand up or a movie or whatever we're doing? It's
terrifying to me.
Really?
I mean, maybe. What do you think? How do you think?
I mean, I've been very fortunate. I've been doing this for 30 years. And so, I've done pretty well. And so, I mean, I don't know what the future holds. I have ideas what the future holds, but I feel I'm lucky enough that I've made some sort of impact. So I think I can ride off of that as I'm navigating the new waters. I hope so.
Yeah. What do you want to do? You want to keep doing movies, TV? What do you want to
do? Dude, I was driving up here thinking about this, because I used to play golf up here at the Calabasas Country Club with these really amazing guys. They were really rich. It was the first time I was in Calabasas 20 years ago, and they were Wall Street guys who made movies, and they did a couple, and then they left. But literally driving out here, dude, it gets me emo. Like, so many. I was on Melrose last night, just at the Improv. If the club isn't open, it's either a weed store or a for lease sign. LA is decimated.
It feels dead.
Dude, and I'm like, I sold my house 2 years ago, made a little money at the height of it. I'm renting right now, and I'm like, this is 35 years, bro. I've been living here. This is my home since I'm 18. And I feel like, could I leave California? I could live anywhere. I don't the last 3 projects I've done have been totally independent and just offered to me, and I do the deal with my lawyer like you just did. And most of the clubs or people, I just do contracts with my tour manager. I have an agent, but we do better deals than them. And it's like, what are we? I do feel this kind of sad dystopia of like what's going to happen right now. I don't feel like the purpose is normal.
I swear to God, when I think of Hollywood, I know it's not true, but I hear dogs howling and sagebrush blowing down the street.
Dude, it's true. That's true.
It's like, where'd everybody go? Go. Remember you guys remember 2017, 18, 19?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Like, dude, just like the other night on Sunset, it was the store, Mel's Diner, and that was it.
Damn, dude.
Dude, it was like 11:10, and it was dead.
Is that part of getting older, though? Is it? Are you and I 2 old guys in an airport where all the flights have been canceled?
I don't know.
There's a blizzard out, and we're like, dude, is that what's going on?
I don't know. I think, but I feel like things were more robust.
Yeah,
they were more robust.
They were. Rogan went to Austin. The whole comedy community's there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. But I feel like each city had, of course, it's humongous there. But it's like also, I feel like there's cities, everyone's kind of going different places.
Yeah.
Where it's fascinating. Like, you asked me what I want to do. I don't know. Like, I'm doing it. But it's I think talking into the ether is like what we have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
And doing live.
And being funny.
Yeah.
That's my product.
Yeah. And like, social's not going to go away.
No.
So I believe we all are kind of in control of our own little networks.
Yeah, and that's not a bad thing.
No.
And I think, I don't know.
Also, I even think escapism is just weird now. Like, God bless it. I mean, I'm a member, and I love the Television Academy, but the Emmys were the 17th lowest rating, the lowest rating in 17 years.
Damn. You know why?
Huh?
Because look, you and I can make a lot of money. All we have to do is turn ourselves into a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
If I can turn myself into a dopamine hit twice a week,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to build a following,
mm-hmm.
and I'm going to get other drug addicts like me to at least stop their thumb for, let's call it 30 seconds. If I can get them to stop their thumb for a minute,
mm-hmm.
dude, I won. That means they'll share it, and that means I'll be happy for 2 days. Then I got to come up with another way to turn myself into a dopamine hit. And that seems to be what happens, so that when you want to turn on the Emmys, bro, I got to actually sit for a long time and watch the same stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, this is 2023. I can see crazy stuff like giant pythons grabbing animals, even a person. Then I get to see a woman on a skateboard with a bikini and impossible tits who falls, but then is caught in a sea of jello, and anything I want. So my brain.
Wow, your Explorer page is popping.
My Explorer page. Let's see what my Explorer page is. Instagram thought I was gay for a long time. And because, first of all, I'm going to have you look at this.
Because you like fit bodies.
Yes. So look at how gay.
Into fitness.
But I was sending my wife pictures of dudes who are really muscular dancing with sweatpants with giant dicks.
Why to the wife?
Because I was just like, you'd rather be with him, joking around. I have this, the whole thing. I'm like, this.
Just jokes.
So look at like my search page. Tell me that doesn't make me look gay as shit right now. Muscular dudes. Some of the dudes are clearly gay bears, hairy chests, tattoos.
Ready? Here's what Bryan's is. Are you ready?
Go ahead, go through it.
He's got, this first one is not gay at all. It's a girl sticking out her butt.
Yeah, but it's hot girls.
There's a beautiful man in the pool with some ink.
That's a gay. That guy's hot as shit. I probably sent that to my wife.
This again is not gay. This is a healthy.
What is that?
A healthy young.
Yeah, but but it's also embarrassing that I have that.
Some fighters, sharks.
Yep, fighters, sharks, crocodiles, probably.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in him.
All right, that's a weird one. I'm not going to put that one up.
Is there a weird one?
Yeah, it's a weird one.
What was it? Was it gay?
I mean, no, it's not gay at all. It's a Jennifer Aniston young. I don't know if that's
really weird.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Yep.
Sometimes it suggests certain things to you.
There's Joe Rogan in an ice bath.
Okay, that makes sense.
There you go. Yeah. And this guy is Jesus. That's the human muscle. There's a lot of
muscular guys, huh?
I'm going to say you're fit. 80% fit, 20% gay. Not
okay,
really.
Right.
No, there's a lot of fighting.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Maybe 20. And a lot of beautiful girls.
Yeah, a lot of beautiful girls.
Crazy Instagram hot, which is like, is that a filter or what? I don't even know what to say.
Dude, we can't tell anymore.
Do you ice bath?
You know what? It's funny you just said this. I do everything but that.
Yeah, I don't do it.
It's so fucking cold.
I hate it.
Bro. There's a new thing out. I want you to tell me if it's true because you just said everything's a lie. That it's actually bad for you because of your kidneys and the renal function. So I'm like, I never did it. So I wonder if that's true or not.
I believe personally.
Just saw that.
I believe personally that we didn't evolve being that cold all the time, and the idea that it brings down inflammation. Well,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
though.
but sometimes you can train your body to inflame before it gets in there. Like sometimes. If the body feels like it's going to have, say you're not inflamed, this is the science or the theory behind it. Somebody was talking about it. Said there are a couple things that can happen when you do cold exposure all the time. But what can happen, number one, is you start getting cold. Like your body will actually not get used to the cold. It'll get more sensitive to the cold. So that's one issue. You can actually this happens to people in the water a lot. Where they can actually develop, I can't remember what it was, but what it is, but you can get, I'm going to call my friend AG because he'll know. And you, with prolonged exposure to water like that, you actually get more sensitive to cold. Okay. I know the idea is to build like brown fat, but apparently that's not the case. I don't know.
What's brown fat?
But the other idea I heard, which makes sense, is if your body thinks it's going to have to bring down inflammation, your body might trigger inflammation so that it has something to bring down. That's what I heard. So either way, I just don't believe that. I don't believe that you need to cold plunge. I don't think cold plunging every day is going to prolong your life. I don't know if there's any human trials on that. And
what about the infrared?
I don't know.
I do that. I feel like it works.
Maybe. I just also
use that?
No.
Wow. Okay. That actually feels really good.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. It's good. I love sun on my body, so I like to get in the sun. I think sunshine, sleep.
Yep.
Sunshine, sleep, and weightlifting. And then eating well. Like not eating an excess amount of sugar, an excess amount of like simple carbs. I mean, keep it really simple. So if you had salmon, blueberries, elk, asparagus, and a yam, you're probably going to be healthier. And you lift weights, sleep, get sunshine, and you're probably going to be healthier than if you're a high stress person that doesn't sleep that much, but you take a lot of supplements and you ice plunge and you do all that stuff. I don't know that being optimally healthy requires that much work. I might be wrong, but I just had a crazy comprehensive scan at my age. I'm pretty healthy.
Okay, so you did the super duper.
Yeah, high testosterone. I got a lot of, my plaque levels are really low. All that stuff. So I have high cholesterol, which I got.
But high cholesterol is an argument that's not bad for you.
We don't know. The metadata would suggest that high LDL, high lipodensity, low density lipoprotein, can over the long period, like if you have high cholesterol over the long haul, you are prone to a heart attack. That's what the
if you have the plaque.
Yeah, but there are people that have high cholesterol and have zero plaque,
and they still have a heart attack.
They're probably small. No, they're smaller. There's another really interesting stat, which is people that have it's called it's a gene, and it's like SK90. It's like a it's like a MAC M. I think it's called MC. Doesn't matter. MC SK90, It's a type of gene. When that is malfunctioned, when that doesn't work in people, they have super low density lipoprotein. Like it's like 30, whereas high would be 190, but they have like 30. And normal would be, I don't know, something like 100 or 90 or 80. So the ones that have this gene malfunction where the LDLs, their bad cholesterol, is super low, never get strokes or heart attacks ever. They never get them in their whole life. And that's interesting.
And you got tested for that too.
Yeah, I don't have that gene. I have high cholesterol because I have genetically high. My liver just makes it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I have good arteries, but over the long haul, we don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting how things we think we can fight, but it's just a gene that we don't even know we have.
Well, we're learning more and more about your genetic predisposition and then your environmental predispositions.
Yeah.
But I also have another philosophy about all this shit as I get older. I don't know if you should be this concerned about your health. You ever wear a Whoop watch or one of those things? You know what the problem with those that record your sleep, your recovery?
Oh,
you know what the problem with that is?
What?
You look at it every day, and if you didn't get enough sleep, and it says, you're only at 80% or 60%, that's going to get in your subconscious, and you're going to be 60%.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that shit, dude. Maybe
Yeah.
I didn't get that much sleep last night. I drank 2 glasses of wine. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I ate a bunch of lamb. Fuck off. And I didn't sleep that well. But I had a podcast to do. I don't want to hear that I'm not this, that, and the other thing.
You're mad at your watch.
I'm pissed at my watch, bro.
Yeah.
I took that shit off.
You threw it.
I don't want to know.
Yes. So at 1 minute you're doing a scan, and next minute too much information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
You know?
That's
Europe wasn't built on... Nobody who built Europe had abs.
Exactly. That's what they say. If you have abs...
Abs are the enemy. Can't get rid of my abs, though. Where's my camera?
You've got abs, right?
I mean, I sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. Tell me...
this is like your Explorer page.
Tell me, I want to know what you... do you read?
Not as much as I should.
Do you watch movies?
Documentaries.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude.
Yeah. Dude, escapism is weird to me now. Tell me if I'm crazy. I feel like because we're all sharing information, it's peer-to-peer. I think that they wanted TikTok banned, not because it's a Chinese spyware, but because we're sharing information. And I believe that we're all on this truth journey. But we have to figure out what it is, what's the truth. So I feel like we're all sharing information. So I'm more into that type of shit than any escapism.
Well, I wonder if transparency is inevitable, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So whether or not they're afraid of the truth, I think what's actually happening maybe is technology is making it so, first of all, they know everything about you.
Everything.
They know everything.
Everything.
They got your biometrics. You're not hiding.
Yes.
The biggest challenge for spy agencies is when a country like China puts in all the cameras in a country like, Kenya, and you're doing secret stuff. They can look at your face with facial recognition. You may have a different passport, but they're like, that's not him. Let's compare him to his social media. In college, that guy's saying he's this, but he's actually that. So it's really hard to do anything now. So I think in a lot of ways, your who you are, like your anything that you do, your loves, your hates, what you're gonna love, what you're gonna hate, all your behaviors, it's all been tracked, and it's all been traded, and it's all been bought, and it's all been sold. And you're essentially a series of numbers. And that includes your genome, that includes your health. They can tell. Statisticians are really good at taking someone like myself and going, there's a number attached to him. He's worth this. Are we going to insure him? The numbers will tell us. There's a number that spits out. I think that's going to get more and more accurate, so that pretty soon you're going to have you can call it social credit score, but you're going to have a number attached to you, and that number or numbers, and those numbers are going to tell an insurance company how much you should pay, when you're going to die, or when you're most likely to die. All that stuff.
So you're saying mark of the beast. That's kind of what you're saying.
It's hard to ignore revelations.
Barcode. I know. Do you find yourself getting more religious?
Yes.
Dude, it's crazy. I bet because we think alike when we came up in the same era, dude. So am I crazy to say this? Tell me if I'm too far. That the world is raunchier than it's ever been. I don't know if it's always been this raunchy or I'm just seeing it. And I also feel like there's a lot of Satan shit. Am I crazy?
So I would say that the world is. I would say that there's never been a time where vulgarity made as much money as it did.
It's insane.
And where vulgarity wasn't.
Vivid girls are going too far now. Oh. They're like, too far, guys. These Vivid girls are like, take it back. Like, right?
100%. It's a time when vulgarity is mainstream, accepted, celebrated, rewarded.
And I love you say that because I forgot that word, vulgarity.
Yes.
And yet I see these women, no offense, women, but they're talking. They go, well, that's how guys talk. We don't talk like that. No. If you and I went and played a round of golf, we wouldn't talk about, oh yeah, I was, we don't talk like.
But women don't either.
I know.
They will when the lens is on them and when there are clicks and likes, right? So we're all addicted to and enslaved by the public embrace. And it's either because we need that affirmation, but mostly it's because you can make money that way. Mostly because being an influencer is probably, according to some stats, for kids, their number one goal.
Yeah,
Again,
dude.
What does that mean? I'm going to turn myself into a dopamine hit. And that's what I'm going to figure out. So, and what I think is really a bummer is that I was talking to David Blaine about this. David Blaine, he would do a magic show, and it would trend for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that guy levitate? Did you see what he's magic? Now he does something, and it'll trend for what? 24 hours or less, or a minute.
And you're talking. This is the best at the best. Yeah, dude. He's the best of the best.
Yeah, but we consume it. We consume it like we do candy. You are a fucking bite-sized piece bonbon. We're all bonbons. And I think that's terrible. But this is kind of getting into what you were talking about. I get religious because I start to think, are we the ancient Israelites? Are we just worshiping a golden calf? And have we forgotten about that? There is a huge revival, though. There's a giant revival, religious revival in this country among young people.
When did this happen? And what religion?
It started happening about 5 years ago, but Christianity is massively popular in a lot of places, including in like New York City, these mega churches, because young people are going, I don't know, I can't predict the future. I don't know if there's a place for me in the future. I don't even know if there's a place for human beings in a world of AI and autonomous robots, etc. I got to get back to, and the book of Revelations seems to be, when I can pay for my Whole Food stuff with my hand, it's like, wait, hold on, everybody.
That's right. What is the basic thing of Revelations, the mark of the beast?
Well, Revelations is
basic through line.
Yeah, it's basically what happened to the Israelites at the end in the Babylonian exile. When the Israelites, when the temple was torn down, the Babylonians came in and took all of Jerusalem, all of the two tribes of Judah. Well, they decimated the tribes in the north, and then Judah and Benjamin got basically enslaved. And it was the end until they were brought back. But the idea would be, actually, in this case, the way God got rid of everybody except for Moses and the people on the ark. This would be something much worse. This would be anyone who is not righteous, anyone who's not right with the Lord, will be essentially melted in the fire. And it's a terrifying. If you ever read it, it's fucking terrifying. And I think it was John the Baptist, right? It was John the Baptist who had the revelation. Is that right? Yeah.
And you're thinking we're starting to live in that now.
I think that people are saying this world of abundance and this world of convenience has not made me happy. In fact, it's turned me into a drug addict. I have this joke. I bought my kids an iPhone. I haven't seen them since. Can I just show you something that's really interesting?
Your Explorer page?
It's an Apple iPhone.
Yeah.
It's an Apple iPhone. The Apple. And there's a bite out of the apple.
I know, dude.
It's the tree of knowledge, bro. You tell me.
Well, it's also, you know what? It's literally the garden.
It's the Garden of Eden.
Well, I know. Well, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, because I didn't know if you're not a conspiracy guy, I thought, but are you open to that now?
Well,
because that's very tripped me out. The apple is bitten. It's not just a normal apple.
And so can I ask
symbolism will be their downfall.
Was there a before Apple, and is there? You remember the world before the Apple iPhone, and you remember the world after Apple iPhone. You could in many ways say there was before Apple and there was after Apple in a lot of ways. Just in the sense that
it was a Crackberry.
Yeah, but the Crackberry didn't have.
No, it didn't have. It was a total, and that was very great, but it was not. It was my sidekick, but it wasn't that. Yeah, that's literally blue ocean.
Yeah, and let me ask you: so I have Google. I can get all the information and knowledge. I can get all the information. Is information the same as knowledge? Is knowledge the same as wisdom? I don't think so. Is nonfiction the same as truth? I don't think so. Google doesn't bring me any closer to the truth. It might tell me what is, but I don't know that it tells me. It might say, well, what you thought was this, but it's actually this. Okay. But does it get us closer to the truth of what's actually important?
But what are we saying with your Apple iPhone?
I just think it's interesting.
That we have, we have everything. Think about it. Britannica. You look something up. I'm of the era of Britannica. We'd have to go, oh, we look up dragons. You have to go to the D book.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't in that book, we'd know, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes I think we're all, what's that parable? The cave?
Yeah, Plato's cave.
I feel like we're still in that.
Probably.
And I feel like there's a lot more going on over here, and we think we're out of the cave, but we're still in the cave.
Well, you're getting into Buddhism too, though.
Okay.
Right? You're kind of getting into the idea that there's the Atman, which is the universal self, and you are not your emotions, you're not your body, and you're not your mind. It's kind of an interesting, kind of weird thing, because you can observe your own mind.
Really?
Yeah. So, the idea of duality, like, so there's subject, object. So in life, I'm the subject and I can look at the object. The Vedas, the Vedanta would say, you can actually, even your mind is the object. Your mind is not you. Your mind is something that actually can be observed and can be, you can step outside of all three of those things. It's fucking insane.
Can you do that?
No.
Have you been able to do that?
No, but I've had glimpses of it. I believe that it's true for a lot of reasons, but mainly because I think the burning monk is everything. Like, remember the burning monk in 1963, that Vietnamese monk? He lit himself on fire. He got into this position. He didn't even take time to meditate. He just shut his eyes. His acolyte put gasoline on him. He was protesting the South Vietnamese. He was a staunch Roman Catholic, the president's treatment of Buddhists, which was the majority of the population. And he got into he was 65, like a serious bodhisattva man, like a Rinpoche. This dude was a bad motherfucker. And he gets in there in his robes. His acolyte pours gasoline on it, and he just takes a match and just sets himself on fire. Did David Halberstam from the New York Times and the other guy from the New York Times said he didn't move a muscle. He didn't make a sound. He just sat there and fell over when he was finally burnt to a crisp. That shit. If that doesn't tell you that dude was able to step on the outside and watch himself, he was not him. The Buddhists say, so the idea is like, so
why did he do it to himself?
Because I'm talking about it now.
Yeah.
And the United States said to Diem at the time, you have to start treating Buddhists better. It had the effect he was looking for. The United States, everybody was like, holy shit. These Buddhists are hardcore. He didn't kill anybody. He killed himself. He set himself on fire and wrote a compassionate note. He said, please find some compassion for us, for the Buddhists in your country. I mean, it was like, everybody was like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that image ushered in the way when Rocky drank all those eggs. They say Rocky, the movie, was one of the reasons the fitness craze hit America. People were running and stuff. It had huge influence on American fitness. That example had a great deal to do with the American infatuation with Far East mythology, philosophy, meditation, Buddhism.
Yeah, it's like an image that is embedded in my mind.
Can we shut that off, bro?
And
I hate this. I hate
what?
it. What
happened?
I can just hear this fucking terrible air conditioning.
Oh, right there.
No, the AC cannot be shut off in this building.
So we can't shut that off. What is that then?
It just affects the temperature.
Can we make it warmer?
Yeah, I can help you.
All right.
You cold?
I don't know. That annoys me. That sound. But so that's where I guess I'm.
This conversation, we've gone to a lot of places.
I know. I want to know what you think, though. Are you getting more religious?
Wait, are we on? Dude, do you know Jay Davis?
Yeah, I love Jay.
I do a joke about him. Like before the pandemic, he was like, "Hey, bro, let's go to Miami. My buddy's got a jet. It's going to be us and like 6 strippers. We're going to have the best time."
Why is Jay talking with such a high voice? That's not a good Jay Davis impersonation.
Is that, he kind of says that?
The worst Jay Davis.
Is it? Hey, man. I'll work on it. And then when I do it at the show, people like it.
I love it. I miss Jay. I love Jay so much.
Then middle of the pandemic, he's like, "Hey, bro, you want to go to church? I've got 6 people that want to join us." So like during the pandemic, he became very religious.
God bless him.
I'll work on my Jay. And and it's funny. It's like we really became closer in the pandemic, and we were talking about it. And I'm not like religious in the sense where I was raised a Catholic and all this stuff, and I went to Hollywood and kind of put that on the back burner. But I'm seeing a lot of things in the world that are fucking weird and evil and borderline normalized that I think are fucking weird.
Yeah.
And like you said, vulgarity. And I'm like, am I an old prude? Like, I've lived, and I'm like, are things getting crazier?
I think that you're hearkening back to a time when things weren't as vulgar. And
I was raised in the 80s. Like a movie that was fun was Porky's or a TNA movie, and that was like, ooh, risky, but it was still like there was a lot to the imagination.
Yeah.
There's nothing now.
Yeah.
Everything is on the table very quickly. And like I did a show 2 months ago. A guy in the middle of the crowd, teacher, some kind of interaction happened, and I asked him a question, and he said, this fucked me up. He said, "I'm a high school teacher, and half of the girls in my class, juniors, want to have an OnlyFans when they can." And that fucked me up.
Yeah, because they can make a lot of money. Or they think they can.
But what's your soul worth?
I know.
So it's like...
I think, though, Jamie, you'd find a lot of young people and people in general that agree with you, and there's a huge pushback. I think what's going to happen is that, again, as automation and as technology seems to grow at this exponential rate where AI is making AI and all these terrifying things, I think the nostalgia for things that are made with your hands, things that take time, and one of the reasons that Jordan Peterson says he's so popular is because he tells old stories with traditional values, and young people need it and love it. There's a reason that the Old Testament, the New Testament, or the Upanishads, or whatever you want to say, or the Quran, there's a reason they endure. And the reason they endure is because they have something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
They just do. They do. They have something to offer to people, and they give people's lives meaning, and they give people's suffering meaning.
Yeah, I think that what you're saying is with technology, we have all this stuff at our hands. So there's certain things, obviously most things are convenient, but I find myself cooking more. Like the one ingredient diet, like what you're saying, is kind of pretty much what I do. I'll have a steak, some ghee butter, like a yam if I'm feeling like I need a little extra yogurt. I only eat about 12 things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And yeah, and it's like keep it simple. I think they've complicated everything, and we have to go back to the simple time. And it's like I'm realizing as I'm older, we don't need much. We don't need much.
Yeah.
But it's a different time. Like when I'm coming up, I'd have to get myself booked at Igby's. There's a name for you on the west side. Get the guy to film me. Get the tape to the dub house. Dub the tape. Edit the tape. Get the tape back. Get the messenger. Send it to the messenger. Hopefully they get it before 6. Then hope them watch the tape. Write the cover letter. That was just to be seen possibly by an agent.
Do you remember New York City? Remember New York City? Did you ever live in New York City?
No, but I've done a lot of time there.
So when you'd be in New York City in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, it was packed with bicyclists, messengers. Mm-hmm. They were all messengers, and they had satchels with all the papers in there because they were sending papers from one office to another. Mm-hmm. You were sending, it wasn't faxes, man. You were sending contracts and headshots and all of that stuff. It was all paper. It was all manual. Mm-hmm. Agents had this giant drawer with all these headshots and resumes, and you had to update it. You had to get new pictures, and you had to print the pictures out.
Yeah,
it was all manual, man.
So, but your day was spent 2 days doing that process, and now it's beep. And it's like Netflix quality from a set at the Improv. So, that's great, but then what's it do? It gives us more time to be within our own mind. And then we're starting to see all the shit. And but I do feel like, I hate to sound like an old man again, but idle time's the work of the devil. I'm telling you, dude, there's some weird shit going on in this world right now, and I'm seeing more satanic imagery than I have ever seen in Hollywood.
Really?
Fuck yes. Look at the music business. And there's a theory about it. Well, it's a work to piss off Christians. But it's not really. It's not. Ozzy and different people like that aren't. They're having fun with it.
Right.
That's their pageantry. They're not really it's a normal guy that makes fried eggs. Mm-hmm. I think it's the sneakier people that are there's some stuff going on. I think it's
people have likened the whole
Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, people have likened the trans movement, gender affirming care for children, as in children who, as young as 8 can decide their gender and go on puberty blockers, which have bone density problems, and then they put them on cross-sex hormones, which render them sterile. And a lot of people are comparing that to a form of child sacrifice. I happen to agree with that, but it's you're assuming that a child understands their gender, really. And what is gender? What do you mean by that? What do you mean feel like a woman or feel like a man? What do you mean by that? I don't know what it means to feel like a man. I know how I feel as a man, constantly worried that I can't provide or protect my family. Is that what you want? What are we talking about with male stuff? Do I have a natural level of aggression? Probably, because I feel like the world wants to kill me. Is that what you mean by male? Mm-hmm. You ever think about that? What is it? What do you mean by you identify as a male or a female? What does that mean?
Well, traditionally it was if you had a penis, you were a male.
Oh, that's crazy talk. And
if you had a vagina, you were a female.
What?
Now
and ovaries and XY and XX chromosomes? There's what?
That was a thing. And I'm saying is, look, there's a lot to it. Obviously, it's a very hot button topic, but your feelings aren't exactly truthful. I do a joke and I say, I can't go in the bank and withdraw $10,000. And they say, you're overdrawn. I can say, I felt like I had more cash. Yeah. You know what I mean? I identify as richer. I mean,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, it's wild that I'm trying to attack this subject in a way that I'm trying to see everything. And it's basically like this. I understand it. If your physiological makeup is one way, but you feel another way, that's a battle within yourself. And that's something that's very, I'm sensitive to that plight. But I think the problem is, when people walk down and you see a guy in a dress with packing a 9-inch hog and you're like, what's up, dude? And he's like, fuck you. It's all right, give me a second here. I didn't know, you know what I mean?
I don't.
But when people get mad at that, it's I'm sorry. I understand you. I thought you were a tradition. You looked one way. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's when people get mad.
But I want to be more muscular. I've always wanted to be bigger and stronger and muscular. I'm not. So where do you put that?
What are we saying?
We're talking about inner feelings.
So you want to be muscular.
So does that mean that I identify as a more muscular person? I mean, You know
okay.
I mean, but really, like I walk around like I'm 230, 6'4", but I'm not. I'm not. I walk around like I'm way tougher than I am. I'm not. You know.
You identify. Well,
but you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I have an inner feeling, and my inner feeling is I long.
I identify as 8% body fat. You're saying. Okay.
I long to be impossibly muscular.
Yes.
Like for real. I want to be able to take my shirt off and somebody go, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
It's never going to happen. It's probably why I have all this gay imagery on my phone.
Yes. We'll call it fit.
Yeah.
Fit imagery.
Fit. So that's what I meant.
But I mean, there's just this line that's crossed, and the problem is that we can't talk about it without being considered hateful. And that's crazy.
I know.
And we can, I think we as comedians, if we want to call ourselves that, can approach something in a sensitive way. But that's what humor does, right? It takes the sting out of things so that, okay, now we're laughing. Now let's talk about it.
That's what we have to do.
Yes.
That's what we have to do.
But it's the amount of jokes I'll do in Irvine and I'll do the same ones at Melrose. I mean, it's two different planets.
Is that right?
Oh, big time. You know this. Brea is going to be a lot different.
They're in. They're like, bring it.
And it's like...
Melrose has a lot of people that think they have to be like, boo, and it's like, shut up.
Or they just get real quiet. And I mean, it's my favorite club in the world, but it's like...
They're afraid.
Well, they're afraid of what their friends think. And that's the importance of keeping the lights dark, because people feel like they're going to get judged if they laugh at something too much. And it's like, this literally is, well, you asked what I want to do. It's kind of, this is it, dude.
I know.
We really, our opinions, and how long can we have them?